What's happening, folks? Rouge again, and today we're talking about the human body systems. What all the body systems do is they maintain a status of homeostasis. And what homeostasis means is it means to keep or maintain a balance. Okay? So your body wants to maintain normal conditions. All organ systems, there's 11 total. There's 11 different organ systems. And all of them work to keep a balance. If something is out of balance, you're not going to feel very good. And God forbid, if something goes way out of balance, that's where death actually occurs. There's no such thing as death from old age. Death actually occurs when your body can no longer maintain homeostasis. So let's take a look at how your body maintains homeostasis. There's two ways that it does this. There's what's called a negative feedback loop and a positive feedback loop. First, we'll take a look at a negative. We're going to use a classroom as an example. Let's say to maintain homeostasis, we want to keep our classroom at 72 degrees. Okay? If it goes above or below, we're not going to feel too comfortable. So we'll set our thermostat to 72. And if the temperature goes above 72, if it goes too high, that thermostat is going to adjust and turn on the air conditioner to bring the temperature back down. Okay? If the AC brings it below 72, then it might be a little bit too cold for us. Our heater is going to kick on. And our heater is going to raise the temperature back to 72. And if it overshoots, the AC turns on and it brings it back down. So a negative feedback loop, negative feedback, discourages an action. Okay? It brings something back down to a baseline. Okay? A positive feedback loop, on the other hand, promotes something. So let's say we use a house, for example, to show a positive feedback loop. And let's say there's a fire that occurs. As that fire spreads, smoke detectors are going to start to go off in the house. Well, as the fire goes further and further, more and more smoke detectors are going to go off in the house. It's going to get louder and louder and louder. And we'll say that it is promoting. It is promoting an action or encouraging something. Okay? So, negative feedback discourages. Positive feedback promotes. Let me show you some examples in your body. First, for a negative feedback loop, your body wants to maintain blood sugar. It wants to maintain sugar in the blood of about, this is a little bit on the high end, but we'll just say for an even number, 100 milligrams per deciliter. That's what your body wants to maintain. Okay? So, after you have a meal, after you have lunch, your blood sugar is going to go up. It's going to rise above 100 milligrams per deciliter. Okay? So your body's going to have to work to bring it back down. To do that, your body releases what's called insulin. Insulin lowers blood sugar. Okay? So insulin brings that blood sugar back down. Now, that happened right after lunch, right? So you have your lunch, your blood sugar goes up, insulin brings it back down. Well, let's say you go through 6th, 7th, 8th period, and you don't have dinner for quite some time after. Your blood sugar is going to get too low. In order to get it back up to 100 milligrams per deciliter, another hormone is released called glucagon. Glucagon raises blood sugar to get it back to 100 milligrams per deciliter. Okay? So this is one example of a negative feedback loop. A positive feedback loop, on the other hand, remember, that promotes or encourages an action. So when a woman is pregnant and she starts to give birth, there's a hormone called oxytocin. And when she starts to have contractions, she's going to release oxytocin. Oxytocin thereby encourages or further increases more contractions, okay? So the more oxytocin there is, the larger the contractions are until she finally gives birth. And that oxytocin is promoting the contractions, okay? Okay. Now let's take a look at all 11 organ systems of the body. And yes, I do want you to jot these down. The first one is the integumentary system. I know that's a big word, but what integumentary or integument is, it's your outer layers. It's your hair, skin, and nails. What your integumentary system does is it acts as the external barrier. That's the outer layer, okay? And yes, this is an organ system. It separates your insides from the outer environment. It helps to make vitamin D from the sun. It has sweat and oil glands. And it also has pain receptors. And yeah, pain's kind of important. It tells your body not to keep doing something because it's painful or it could be dangerous. Okay, and again, that's the integumentary system. I want you to just think of skin. Okay? The next system we have is the skeletal system. This is the framework for your body. Okay? This maintains your structure. It protects vital organs. So I want you to think right now, what is the most protected organ in the entire body? What is the most protected organ? That would be your brain. Your brain has a thick, completely solid skull that encloses it completely. If you were to look at the next organs that has the most protection, that would be your heart and your lungs. Okay. So the skeletal system gives us framework, protects our organs. It does make some blood cells for us, and it also stores minerals. Okay. Remember, there's a lot of phosphorus and calcium stored in that skeleton. The next organ system is the muscular system. Primary function of the muscular system is to move your skeleton, is to move your bone through space, okay? And also, what people don't think about is what happens when we get cold. When we get too cold, we actually start to shiver, and that produces some heat. Okay, so that's another function of the muscular system. Next, we have the nervous system, and the nervous system works very fast. The nervous system controls the body and acts very fast, okay? It sends nerve impulses or electrical impulses throughout the entire body to work very, very fast. And that consists of your brain, your spinal cord, and all of your nerves, okay? We have another method of controlling our body, and that's with the endocrine system. The endocrine system is much slower. It's slow acting, and the reason why it's slow is because it secretes hormones. Okay, so if you ever heard of that word hormones, they're made from the endocrine system. Hormones are much slower in controlling the body because they have to use blood. The hormone gets released into the blood and then it has to diffuse throughout the whole body. So it's much slower than the nervous system, which is very fast acting. Next we have the cardiovascular system. I think of the cardiovascular system as the body's way of transportation. If something has to move throughout your body, it's going to use your blood or your cardiovascular system, such as nutrients after you eat food. Those broken down, the digested molecules, they go to your bloodstream, and that's how they travel throughout the body. Hormones also go to the bloodstream. Anything that has to move around. Oxygen. How does oxygen move around your body? It has to go into the blood, and the blood is what transports everything else. How does the blood move? It's pumped by your heart, okay? So your heart is what's moving that blood all the way around through the body. Next, we go to the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is going to do two things. It's going to pick up excess fluid that may seep out or leak out of our cardiovascular system, okay? And that fluid is called lymph. The other thing that the lymphatic system does is it's where a lot of our immune cells are. So our white blood cells and a lot of our defense cells, they're in our lymph. Okay. You could think of the lymphatic system as the immune system. Okay. Next, we have the respiratory system. That keeps our blood supplied with oxygen and keeps removes carbon dioxide from the blood as well, okay? And that obviously consists of your lungs, your diaphragm, your trachea, okay? That's your respiratory system. Next, we have the digestive system. The digestive system's job is to take our food and break it down into very small molecules, absorbable molecules, okay? Anything that our body can't absorb, obviously, makes its way to the toilet, okay? Anything we can't digest, or what we call indigestible matter, we eliminate it. And you guys got the idea. Next, we go to the excretory. The excretory system is also the urinary system. I want you to think of this as the urinary system, not the excretory. What the urinary system does is it eliminates nitrogenous waste, and we get that from proteins. We get that from protein in our diet. It eliminates that in our urine, okay? So nitrogenous waste goes through our urine. It regulates our water levels and electrolytes and even our pH, okay? And lastly, we have the reproductive system. The only main goal for the reproductive system is to produce offspring, okay? And I want you to think about this. We have 11 body systems. 10 of those body systems work to maintain homeostasis. The reproductive system is not needed to maintain homeostasis. It's not needed to keep ourselves alive, okay? The reproductive system is to carry on the species, okay? That's the only function of it, to reproduce, to make offspring, okay? And that was it for today, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.